So, welcome back to the If I Don't Laugh, I'll Cry show. I'm Christina Johnson, and today I'm so excited. I have a very special guest here with us on the podcast. It's a treat. We're going to get so much value out of this. I'm so excited to welcome this very special human to the show, Nathalia Oakfield. Welcome.
Yay. Thank you, Christina. I'm so happy to be here.
Oh
Thank
my
you for the
gosh.
invitation.
You're very welcome. I'm so excited to have you on here, and I just can't wait to learn more about you and everything that you're doing right now.
Me too. I'm excited to chat.
Okay, so let's tell, our audience a little bit more about you. So,
Yeah. All right.
um,
So like Christina said, my name is
what,
Nathalia Oakfield.
yeah, I'm gonna read your bio so they know who you are, what you do. So,
Right.
Nathalia Oakfield describes herself as a curious soul. She's a Reiki master, an integrated health coach, and she recently has added Akashic reader to her resume. She has a podcast called Spirituality and Shit. And as if that wasn't enough, she actually works as an auditor from 9 to 5. How do you fit all of that into your days?
Honestly, when you are like reading all of that, I can't even believe it. It's a lot. But
Wow.
I guess with passion, right? Like if you have to have passion for the things that you're doing, and you have to organize yourself in a
Right,
way to make things work for you
right,
and kind of let go of what doesn't work and keep what does. But
right.
yeah, it does
Pivot
sound like a lot.
wherever.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay, so take us back to like being a health coach and your transition to becoming a Reiki master.
sure. That's that's a good story. I haven't told this story in my own podcast yet, so you guys are going to be the first to hear it.
Oh my God.
But all right. So about 6 years ago, when I moved back to the US, I was living in Brazil for about a decade. I'm originally from Brazil, and I moved back, got an office job, just basically doing what I'm used to doing, but not happy, and just really started questioning my life, my career, my choices, where I'm at, and if that was really all there is to life, Monday through Friday, and then just the weekend to rest and do what you love. Just didn't sit right with me. So I started to explore options of what else do I actually like, right? Because I had been working and still am working with accounting, like you said, I'm an auditor ever since I became a mom, just kind of because I had to get a job and make money, you know what I mean? And at that time, 6 years ago, I kind of allowed myself to explore things that I actually enjoyed, right? And that's where I found IIN, the Institute of Integrative Nutrition. And that's where, I mean, at that point, it was just something that I wanted to do just to explore. I wasn't really sure what I was going to do with it as far as a career. But I think it was 6 months into me taking that class, I had a friend who was a health coach, and she did online health coaching, right? And she invited me to do it with her, and it was with Beachbody. I'm sure you've
Okay.
heard.
Yes, yes, I'm familiar.
Yeah. And at that point, it seemed like the right thing to do because it was just how, I mean, I was, learning about getting people healthy, and I was seeing my friend do really well, like actually saw her making a really good amount of money. And I thought, you know what, let's do it, because the health coaching classes that I took at IAN, they were really great, but they don't necessarily prepare, like how do you actually open a business? How you don't have that type of support.
Right.
Maybe they do right now because I know they've updated a lot, but it's been a while. And also, you have to have money to invest, right? You have
Yeah.
to have money to invest in your own business right away. And I did not have that. And with Beachbody, I invested like $160, I believe. And I started seeing clients and helping people. And that was good for me. I felt really good. Right.
Great.
And that lasted for about 2.5 years. But I started to really notice that helping my clients with food and exercise wasn't enough. It just wasn't enough. There was
Right.
something deeper. Um, yeah, I felt like I wasn't helping them the way that I should. And I started to feel a little guilty even for like charging them on a monthly basis, seeing that I wasn't really getting to the bottom of what the issue was. So I started to question a lot of things myself, but eventually decided to move away from Beachbody. And I was actually doing Beachbody while I did like a meditation challenge for 27 days by myself.
Wow.
And in the challenge, I got a real like light bulb moment that I needed to explore energy healing. And that's when like Reiki came into my life. And everything flowed with such ease that I didn't really have time to question it, you know? And like you said in your opening, like I'm a curious soul. I always have questions. I didn't have time to question anything.
Right.
Everything just worked out so easily. And yeah, I just knew it was what I had to do. And here I am.
Wow. And when you feel that ease, it almost it's almost like your intuition is like telling you, okay, wait, maybe I should move into this and start doing
Mhm.
more of this every day and into my life and integrate it. So
Yeah.
for the audience who doesn't know what Reiki is, because it is absolutely incredible for all of us, and I think all of us need to know more about it. And if you could tell us a little bit more about what exactly Reiki is.
Yeah, absolutely. I am super excited that it's becoming more popular and that people will learn more about it and have more access to it. Reiki, it is energy healing. It originated in Japan in the early 20th century. It is basically the life energy that is all around us. So
Wow.
it is not when we do energy healing, right? Reiki healing, it's the Reiki healer, me, let's say, and I position my hand on top of chakras or specific places in your body where you feel like you need the healing. You know, it doesn't have to be necessarily in the seven main chakras. And I'm basically just a channel to this life energy all around us that surrounds us in the universe. It's not really my energy that I'm giving out. So I think that's important to know. It's not like I'm getting depleted from my own energy. That doesn't happen at all.
Right.
I'm just standing there as a vessel to allow that energy to come through and help healing, help you in your healing and everyone else that needs it. Um, Helps you relax. It reduces stress, helps with anxiety. It helps for your sleep. It's definitely something that a lot of people will comment like, oh my gosh, I slept like the best night of my sleep after I had a Reiki session. So
Wow.
that's something that people definitely come for. And yeah, it's like I said, I'm just happy that it's becoming more popular and people have more access to it. It's nothing woo-woo. It's just, I mean, we're energy beings, so it makes
Yeah.
sense that we're gonna need energy healing as well.
I have to point the fact that you said it doesn't drain your energy and that
Yeah.
you're the channel and the vessel. That is, I mean, it's incredible to just point that out because yes, we get the energy healing benefit depending on where we need it. If
Mhm.
so, question: is it more for like if people have like mental blocks, or it really just depends what chakra, like like arthritic, like pains, or
So it's you don't necessarily need like a specific issue to come and get a Reiki session, right? It's
okay,
gonna help you no matter what. So you don't necessarily need to wait for um I don't know, for a neck pain to come
right,
through, you know. Um which is actually important to point out. Everything that's gonna come in your body, in your physical body, starts as energy. So if you can actually heal that before it has the time to become a physical issue, even better, right? So it's like a preventative way, if you think about it. You don't have to wait to have the problem to then look for help. If you constantly are getting, you know, your energy cleared, then all those blocks will be
hmm,
getting moved all of the time. So
wow,
there's no worries, I guess.
right,
But
right.
yeah, did that answer? I'm not sure. I think
Yes, no, no,
sometimes
no.
I I go and I keep talking and I forget what the question was, but
No, you did answer the question. I don't know. I guess when I heard the term like chakra, I was thinking like
Mhm,
the throat chakra, and it's like
mhm.
I don't know.
No, you're
I'm learning more about Reiki myself, so I'm happy
mhm.
that we're talking about it and, just diving
Yeah.
deeper.
The throat chakra is a good one to bring up. I love talking about the throat chakra, especially with another woman, because every time I see a woman, I always get like something in the throat chakra, right? Because and it has to do with their voice. And it also so imagine this, historically speaking, for how many centuries have women's voice being repressed, right? And somewhere in the world still is, that's still happening. So there's always some type of issue around the throat chakra, and that could be like thyroid issues that could develop. It could be, or just always having like a sore throat. I don't know. There's different things that can be related to your throat chakra. And again, let's not wait for it to become like thyroid cancer, you know. I hope that that doesn't have to get to that place, but also it's not just doing the Reiki that's going to help. I think it's important to point that out. I mean, obviously, I love Reiki, I love promoting it, and I think it's an amazing tool, but there's other ways to move energy through the body. And what we're doing right now, speaking up, it's part of it, you know. So um, let's say that you feel like you have something stuck in your throat chakra and you can't do Reiki, scream, you know, that's going to move the energy just the same. So don't feel like you have to get your spirituality in on the yoga mat only. Like a good fuck off is spiritual too.
Oh my God, I love okay, so I have to tell you something. I love that you said that, and I guess just the world and how everything works and the fact that I mentioned the throat chakra. Earlier I was just telling my husband I had a lot going on in my mind earlier today, and I told him, I said, I'm gonna go in the room and just scream.
Yeah. Oh my God. I got goosebumps. You were meant to get this message today. Like, yes, screaming helps.
And I thought it was funny because I had all of this pent up energy in my head, in my heart, and in my mind, and I didn't know how to get it out
Get it out.
like verbally with words. And I said,
Mhm.
I just want to go in the room and scream. And I said, I hope, no one hears and like, calls. But so I guess that's why I mentioned throat, and there you go. It comes out.
Yeah.
I guess just when, we need to hear it. So thank you for,
Of
speaking
course.
about that.
Absolutely.
I love it. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm
so
glad I talked about it.
thank you. So, what is one piece of advice you would tell someone who is seeking Reiki healing? Would you point out the fact more of they need to connect with a specific Reiki healer, like someone that they know, like, meeting you on social media?
Mhm.
Where, like, how would you recommend someone who is actually seeking, okay, I want this healing, I want Reiki healing?
Yeah. That's a great question. I think you need to go with your intuition. With your intuition. I guess everywhere in social media is where you're finding, you know, your Reiki healers, but don't go off just what social media says. Like follow your heart ultimately, you know, like watch their videos. If they have a podcast, listen to them. I think you can feel a lot by listening to people's voice and just see where you connect. You know, there's no, and I was actually thinking about that today a lot, because having a spiritual business and, you know, you still want to do marketing, but there's no marketing that will really attract the right people. You're just gonna, it's all energetics really. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think that take that into account. It might look super pretty and all like nice, like laid
Yeah.
out, you know, but how does the energy feel? Like, how does the energy of that person make you feel? Does it feel expansive, like in your heart, or does it feel like weird in your stomach? Like, listen to your body. Your body's going to tell you cues. And also, if you do like, I don't know if they offer clarity call, if they try and close it on the call, to me, that's a red flag. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like you need to allow people to really sit with their decision, especially depending on how much the investment is. I feel like you really need to allow people to not feel pressure into closing right there and then. So those are my tips.
Okay. What stood out to me was when you said listen to the energetics of their voice and how you feel when you listen to them. And
Yeah.
you have a podcast called Spirituality and Shit. Congratulations on starting that in
Thank you.
2022.
Thank you.
Whenever I hear your podcast, I feel like we're having a conversation, like we're sitting in the same room, and your energy and your voice, just listening to you, it lifts me up no matter where I am,
Oh,
no matter your
thank you. That means the world to me, Christina. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Your voice is so powerful, and I'm so excited about your podcast, Spirituality and Shit. So tell us, how did you come up with the name?
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for being on my podcast too, by the way. That was such a fun episode.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah, I played with the idea of having a podcast for about a year before I decided. But one day, I was actually taking my dog out to do her business. And I had my kid with me and he didn't want to walk. I was holding him and it was just like me trying to be like super spiritual about things. I'm like, you know what? Let me take this opportunity. Dog's gonna poop. I'm gonna teach him about number two. Like
Okay.
that's it. We're gonna take this and do that. Well, the dog pooped. I got annoyed with poop everywhere. Like the neighbors didn't pick up their shit. And I'm just like getting really annoyed. I'm getting super annoyed at all my neighbors, like, oh, there's shit everywhere. Anyways, finish what I'm doing, coming back, and then my dog stops like by the entrance where's the concrete and just takes a massive dump right there. Okay. I have no more bags. I can't clean this up.
Yeah.
So I'm just like laughing at myself because 2 minutes ago I was just criticizing everyone for not picking up shit. Here I am, can pick up my own dog shit because I literally don't have bags. Like I can come back, I get it. But it just had me laughing so hard at myself because I was being so judgmental, right? Like this is a silly example. Obviously, people need to pick up their dog shit. Duh.
Yeah.
But I just related it to life and how we judge people's shit without knowing what they're going through, and eventually you're going to have some shit of your own to deal with. And so I just thought about that and in spiritual communities too, how there's so much judgment still, right?
Yeah.
So I thought, you know what? Let's make it spirituality and shit because it's both. Okay. We're here, we're being human, we're spiritual because that's our essence, but we're dealing with shit, obviously. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here. You know what I mean? We'd be
Absolutely.
floating in the astral realm. So while we're here, we're meant to be spiritual and we're meant to deal with shit. So that's how I got inspired. That's my shitty
Honestly,
story.
I think every single person listening or watching who has a dog has been in that situation before. They've been out with their dog. They see other people's, dog shit everywhere, and they're like, "Oh, this is so annoying." It's like little landmines. Like you don't want to
Yeah.
walk on it. And then it comes to the point where then we're walking our dog, and if we don't have a bag, so I honestly love that real life story to spirituality because it's the truth. And then we judge people instantly, and then we ourselves one day could not have a bag, and then it happens to us. So
Yeah, there's going to be times when we're going to be dealing with their shit and we will want people to just be more understanding. So not judging is such a everyday lesson, I guess, that we have to
it's
practice.
it is. And I would say, like, over the last 2 years or so since the pandemic, I've taken that into more in account whenever I communicate and interact with someone.
Yeah,
You really have no idea what is going on in that person's life, what happened to them earlier in the day.
yeah,
So it's almost like giving people a little bit more grace, right? And
100%. We could all use
yeah,
it.
Yeah. So I really like the fact that you said that, and how, it's just something that we have to keep practicing on everyday basis, because as humans, like, in my opinion, I'm sure you'll agree, we just have to love each other more. Like, let's be honest,
Yes.
we just have to love each other more.
Yes, love each other more, love ourselves more. Always more love. Like you can't, I always say, like, you know what, if you don't know the answer, love is the answer. And if it's not working, just up the dose.
I like
That's it.
that. I like that. That's so true. So, other than spirituality shit, what's a one word that you would use to describe your podcast? I mean, I just listening to it, it's so multidimensional. It really is. But like, what's one word that you would use to describe your podcast?
Fun. And I guess real. I try to keep it real. Like even with the editing, sometimes I'm not editing, there's a program that I use that tells me to like edit all the ums and whatnots. And you know what? I did for like the first or two episodes. And then, it's just how we talk. We're thinking through our answers. Like this is us being human. Why am I editing this? This wasn't the point. So that's fun and real fun.
Ooh, real fun. And it's true. We are humans. We're not robots. These answers are not programmed and memorized and um like movie like actor, like, no. This is all
Right.
real, and people can feel on the other end when they listen when you're being real and genuine, and wow, I really love that. So really fun is spirituality
Yes.
and shit.
And
Um
that's how I want to keep it. I want to keep it real and fun. That's
abs-
Did you ever do that test? What's that one that the oh my gosh, that number test, like what's your number? I forgot. The time when everyone was like, oh, what's your
the Myers-Briggs
yeah,
one.
maybe. Can't remember. But mine was like number 7 and it was all about having fun. So like, you know what? This actually
No.
makes sense.
I don't think I have done it. I would like to do that though. If you
I'll find what it is and I'll send it to you.
Yeah, I would love to do it
I
and
love
see
personality tests. Yeah.
what my number is. I would be very curious to know. So
Enneagram. That's what it is. Sorry, it just like
ah,
popped in my head. Enneagram.
I'm gonna write it
Enneagram.
down.
Yep, that's what it is.
Okay.
Do the test. Let me know what your number is.
Okay, so I just wrote it down. I'm gonna do that later on today.
Yay.
Fingers, there's no right or wrong answer. I'm crossing my
There's no
fingers.
right or wrong. There's no right or wrong.
Yes. So who inspired you to start a podcast? Like, why a podcast?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a couple of things, right? I did, like I mentioned earlier, I did Beachbody, and most of that business was done on Instagram. And for the years that I did it, it was I mean, not Instagram and not Beachbody, you guys don't get this wrong. It was like how I was doing the business. I was on it all the time, like posting this, trying to make sure I'm posting like at 12 p.m. when people are like taking their lunch breaks. Like it was such a rigid schedule that I wanted nothing to do with that, like ever again. And I felt really like in a box also. And wasn't necessarily seeing the results that I wanted. It wasn't like for the amount of time and my effort being put into it and the results I was getting from it, it didn't make sense basically. So I started to see, and I was listening to podcasts already, like before 2020 happened, like the pandemic, I was already into personal development. I was already like listening to stuff as I'm working out or driving, listening, like trying to gain knowledge, not like waste time listening to crap. So listening to spiritual podcasts or more like entrepreneurial podcasts or whatnot, I started seeing this women like talking the same things, right? They moved away from um dedicating their time to an audience on Instagram. And basically, it's not that they left Instagram, it's that they made their focus something else, right? Either their website, YouTube channel, like that's a popular one. But podcasts became like the top thing that I kept seeing coming up. And then I kept seeing like on the news, the amount of money being invested in podcasts, or podcasters like really rocking the world out there, like yeah, just news about podcasting being everywhere, and I followed this one specific podcaster who I eventually hired as my coach, and she helped me launch. And I noticed that, and she told me this, that most of her clients would eventually come through podcasting. Either she was a guest in other people's, or she had someone as a guest and that audience came to her podcast anyways. And she said that that was the best way to spend her time, because one, she wasn't limiting herself, and it was 100% her, like no filter, no however many words you have to put in here, it's, yeah, it just felt real. Like I said, it felt more real, and she was having fun with it. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not having fun with Instagram at all. And she taught me how to use all of the stuff that I'm doing on my podcast and just put it on Instagram. Like there's no recreating more stuff, it's whatever I'm using for my podcast. I'm going to put that everywhere else, basically, instead of working double things. And yeah, so it was basically, to me, it was a way to have my voice out there, but also a way to connect to my audience in a deeper way and just be myself without filter. Like I feel like in this way, they can really find out more about me other than watching me, I don't know, do a workout or see what I eat and see me share the sunrise 800 times, you know?
Right. Yeah. I saw somewhere, I read in a blog, and it was about, I was researching like platforms, right? Different social media platforms, TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube, whatever, all of the above. Everyone knows them. And it
Yeah.
said, you know, 9 out of 10, which probably 10 out of 10 people have a social media account on one of those. But
Mhm.
then it said when you switch to podcasting, and if it didn't even say 100, it actually brought it down to 10. If you grab 10 people and put them in a room, odds are one of them has a podcast. And so like host a podcast.
Right, right, right.
So I was like, wow, when you think of saturation in the market and just scrolling for hours and hours, right? You're like,
Mhm.
okay, how many people are on this platform? Like millions and millions. But then when you look in the podcasting space, there's about 1 out of 10, human beings host a podcast. So I think that already your value is through the roof just by you using
Mhm.
your voice and what you're passionate about, and to bring it to all of those listeners who we're like like we just want to grab and just listen and just absorb all of your info. And I think it's a really beautiful thing that the podcasting space is not saturated. Like I think that
And it's
being
forever there. Like people can go back to episodes and just listen and connect from like something 3 months ago. You know, whatever you post on Instagram, if it's not in the top 12, people aren't looking at it anymore. There's like, that's it, you're expired, you know? And there's no expiration date on our episodes. People might not listen to it right away, but maybe they'll binge one day and then like really connect with you, which is also something else. Like you said, like the time you're scrolling, no one's really connecting. Nothing's actually like going into people's head.
yeah.
When someone pushes play on and listens to a full episode, that's a dedicated person. Like that person is your person. So, and that means a lot more to me. Like if I have 10 people, which now I'm getting more, but I used to get so excited, like, oh my gosh, 10 people listen to my episode. I'd be like, Mom, was that you? And it wasn't. So I'm like, cool, it's listening. But
uh
it means a lot more. Thank you. It means a lot more like that 10 people heard me talk for 40 minutes than 200 people did this on my stories and probably didn't like, nothing that I talked about actually was absorbed. You know what I
yeah.
mean? So yeah, I got turned off by Instagram.
Same here. And also I feel like our message, we have to try to condense it in what, like a minute, 2 minutes, whatever we can in stories, which like you said, 24 hours or real. And what we're talking about, we need more than a minute. We need more than a
Yes,
minute to
100%. Yeah, don't have, I hate trying. anything that feels limiting to me is a no.
Yes. Well, I'm happy that we're in this situation. I'm so excited about spirituality and shit.
Yeah, me too.
The episodes, every time a new one comes out, I'm just like, play, play. So everybody go listen. Um,
Yes, go listen.
so I wanted to jump in and kind of switch into Akashic. If I'm Am I saying that correctly?
Yeah,
Okay.
Akashic, yes.
Akashic records, and how do we access them? You're an Akashic reader. Could you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah. So this is very new. Your audience is getting like hot, juicy news right here because I just wrapped up this course in December. I haven't even gotten my certificate yet. I haven't even put it up in my website or anything. Right. It's like that new. And yeah, so the Akashic records, it's let's think about all of the information available in the I can't say the world because it's like even more of that in the universe, it's your energetic library of information that contains all of the details of your soul and its journey till now. But it's so it spans from like past lives, present lives, obviously, future possibilities. There's no like future telling, that's not a thing, but it's I always say it's like a library of your soul. So you get to access the library of your soul and ask questions, see if there's something that was happening in a past life that's an energetic block that's still, messing up with you in this lifetime. I'll give you like a really quick example that just popped in my head, and if it popped in my head, I feel like I have to say it.
Yeah,
Let's
please.
say food, right? People like obsessed with food. Maybe they'll find out in a past life that they didn't have all the resources available to them. Maybe they died like of hunger. That I've seen that happen. People tap into the Akashic records and find that out. And then it's just because the soul doesn't know time, right? There's no time in the soul's dimension. So it's still registered in your soul. And for however long lifetimes this is being carried, like, oh, I need food. I need to accumulate food. I don't want to be hungry again. I don't want to be hungry again. I don't want to be hungry again. So you like carry this with you for however many lifetimes. And then eventually, hopefully, you get to heal that. And it's basically me letting your soul knows that there's no need to fear that food is available at all times, that this happened in a past life, and you can move on with your life in this present life knowing that you have everything that you need. So that's just one super quick example I wanted to put out there of how this could help someone.
Wow. When you said that, I just have to tell you that I looked away for a second because I had to write this down. Library of your soul. That
Mhm.
is so deep and expansive. When I think of a lot, library is X amount of books. There's no number of books in the library, and it's of your soul, which is multidimensional, which, like you said, it's past lives. And it's just so incredible to think of things that we're experiencing today. Like you said, food. Sometimes I hear and from other people and whatever, I'll just give an example of myself. Like
Mhm.
I've been to Japan. I am obsessed with the Asian culture, the food, the belief system, the way of life, everything.
Yeah.
And sushi, just all of it. Okay. And I'm like, I actually
You
have like
probably had a life there.
I
I'm like getting chills as you're saying it.
I I think about it, I'm like, why do I have this affinity, right? I'm into
Mhm.
anime. Me and my husband watch shows in Japanese. I know a few words, a few words, not too much, but it just comes so naturally and easy. And it makes me think of, everyone has their thing that they're into. And it's not it's not for nothing. Like there's a reason why we like certain things that we like. And I think it's such a beautiful
Absolutely.
thing. Like Wow. I thank you for sharing that with
It's,
us.
yeah, I think your soul has that memory and still brings that love to this life. It'd be interesting to access your Akashic records to see what's that about. But with that being said, the things that come up in an
Mhm.
Akashic reading is what needs to come up. So sometimes you do have questions, but it is your higher self that really determines if you're ready for the answer yet or not. So whatever comes through is going to come through for healing purposes only. It's nothing to make you traumatized or anything like that. Like nothing that you've had in a past life that was traumatizing that will traumatize you again. Like that's not
Yeah.
a thing. Where it's
Right.
all for healing purposes and so that you can keep expanding really and just keep having that inner understanding, inner knowing, and just falling more in love with your life. I feel like that's what happens. The deeper I go into my soul, into people's soul, I fall more in love with humanity.
It's so true. The deeper that we go into everything that we're doing, it's like we're learning more about ourselves, the people around us, and it enriches the hell out of our life. Like, let's be honest, it enriches the hell out of
Yes.
our life. And I feel like for so many reasons, like spirituality and the whole concept is just it's expansive as hell, but it's
Mhm.
so like beautiful. And
Yes.
each modality, whether it's Reiki, whether it's Akashic records, is so special and unique in itself. And I feel like we just need to like shout it from the rooftops, like everybody come over here and
Yes.
join our party because we would love to have you.
100%. And it's inclusive. I think it's important to say that too. This is not has nothing to do with any religion. And which also doesn't mean that there's like, if you have a religion, this isn't for you. No, it just means it really is open to anyone and everyone. And it's the type of thing, and I was actually chatting with someone about this today. It's spirituality, but in a freeing way. Like there's no boxes to check or categories that you need to fit yourself into or anything. It's a freeing way of being, really, in touch with your soul and knowing that you have control.
Wow. Just when you said soul, it made me think of the word time
Mhm.
and our time here. And so I have this like crazy thing where, and I just want to get your opinion on it. I have a watch on like today, right now, just for what? I don't know, but I have my watch on. But um, a lot of times I try not to look at the time because I don't want it almost makes me feel constricted when I look at the clock because it's like, "Oh, this is, um, lunchtime, dinner time. This is blank time," because that's the society that we're kind of in and plugged into, but
Mhm.
sometimes I feel like if we unplugged from that because time is an illusion, it's kind of we have all agreed, "Okay, it's, 2 o'clock right now, so."
Yeah.
And when we talk about past lives and how it just my mind just keeps going, and I don't know if I'm making any sense, but I have this vision of, like, time in my head. I was telling my husband about it, so I wanna share it with you.
Yeah.
Um, have you seen the show on Netflix, Bridgerton?
No.
Okay, so I'll
It's a
just
popular one, right? I think it's the one with the hot dude.
I wish
I've
I
seen
knew
memes.
I wish I knew their names. I'm so bad. But yes. Okay, so it takes place a very long time ago. I should have prepared and told know the exact date of it, but it just popped in my mind because I was thinking about time.
Yeah.
And it takes place a long time ago, and we see the problems that these people are going through. And I, I f- I can't help but relate to them today in this present day with so many hundreds of years apart in
Mhm.
time,
Mhm.
in our technology and whatever we have versus a long time ago before they even had technology. I wish I knew the date. But that's okay. That's okay. And it makes me think of today what we're doing and how we're presenting and how we're in this world, what the
Mhm.
hell is time? And how do we I can't even put it into words right now. I don't even know.
I know the time thing, it's a mind fuck,
It is.
honestly.
It's 100%
It always is
mind fuck.
because it's like, okay, yeah, it's a man-made concept. We can all agree on that. But like you said, you can look right now and you can see the time, and we use time to like organize ourselves, right? And so that's it. That's exactly it. It can be both, right? And that's basically, I actually talked about this on my episode yesterday. Like, time is a thing that we're thinking that we're running out of, right? Like, it's a resource that we're running out of. Like, that's just not a thing. It's nothing that we're running out of. And whatever whatever you need to do in this lifetime while you're here being Christina on earth, you're going to have the time for it. Like, no one's going to rob you of that time. So like, know that you have all of the time that you need to do all that you came here to do, right?
Wow.
but but yeah, when you go and you talk about past lives and all of things like that, and the truth of the matter is, I'm going to blow your, maybe my mind's still getting blown too every day, and I love that. Okay, like, I
Yep.
allow that expansion all of the times.
Absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
the truth is that the past, the future, present, it's more of a linear thinking, and it was just made so we could understand things better. But the truth of the matter is, it's all happening simultaneously. Like, there's no past, there's no future. It's all happening
Yeah.
right now, right? So I'm gonna have to find like a picture of this being represented, because and it takes me a while. It took me a while to actually get it, and I still sometimes get tripped up like trying to even talk about it
Yes.
because
Yes.
it is such a hard concept. And that's here's okay, maybe like 100 years ago, talking about past lives was like, whoa, nobody can believe this actually happens, right? So
Yeah.
like, now talking about multi dimensions is the new thing that people will eventually get, and then eventually the past future thing won't be a thing. But yeah, I know that wasn't a question, and I know that I didn't answer jack shit. But yeah, the time thing is, it trips me up all of the time. All of the time, of course. Time trips me up all of the time. Because yeah, I'm just I catch myself thinking, why am I doing this for? Like, what's the point of this time? Blah blah blah. Like, yes. But still
Yeah.
no answer.
There's
But
no
like I said, I
exact.
think it's both. I think it can be both. It can be it is a man-made thing, and it is not a thing at all. So
Right.
part of our human experience is just allowing that contradiction. How comfortable are we with the contradiction?
It's like you said earlier, question. Like, I think that we need to just question more things around us. And that definitely ties in with time. That's just one essence of, everything that we're presented in life every day. But
Mhm.
I think the more that we question things, the more we learn about ourselves and the more that we're able to maybe treat ourselves better. Ourself
Yeah.
self-care looks different for everybody, and it feels different for everybody. I use meditation as a self-care tool. Like, I have to meditate at least once a day, my breathing techniques. And I learned that that helps me leave almost my human body. When I close my eyes, like, I have this um, vision, and I think that we all could have that in whatever way feels good to us, right? So
100%.
so with meditation, it takes me out of my body, and I get to sense where I need to almost like feel like relax, like the shoulders, like release tension and stiffness and
Mhm.
whatever in the body. And then it allows my mind, and I came up with like 3 different things I wanna present this year to everybody in my meditation 2 days ago. Like, there's no rhyme or reason. It just came to me and I was like, wow, I want to write this down, but I want to stay here and see what else comes up.
So you have like mental visions right here. That's amazing. You could,
Yes.
I know you asked like, how do you do the Akashic readings? How do you
Mm,
access them?
mm,
And the training consists of that, right? Like of doing various meditations. So you get yourself to a meditative state. But then there's some guiding that goes into like the meditation in order for you to access that. But if you're doing that in your meditation already, I'm sure you'll be able to access your own Akashic records.
oh
And
my gosh.
yeah. And
Wow.
because most of people, they have some troubles like with seeing, right? And they think that they're not getting anything, but a lot of communication in other realms happen in your body too. Like you have feelings, right? Or you just hear. You don't necessarily always see things. You have
Yep.
like you have to be aware of all of your senses and not just fixate on what you're going to see. Like, and it's not going to be like a movie for HD in your screen, your mental screen. But yeah, that's so exciting that that happens to you, because that's a good sign. That's a good sign. It's like you're already unblocked.
Oh, that's so good to hear. I was like, what the hell is happening? But I love it and keep going. And it's almost like I had to tell myself, wait, stop trying to make sense of what this is and just let
Allow
it,
it.
yeah, and just like let it flow. And when I did, more came in. I was like, wow, this is incredible. And then I kind of like fell asleep and I said to myself, I hope I remember this when I wake up. I hope I
You did.
remember this. Yes.
Yay. That's
Yes.
that's beautiful. Like you just described fully surrender. That's it. You fully surrendered. It came to you.
Wow.
You weren't even attached to like staying
No.
awake.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, well, I should go to sleep now. Like it felt like everything just fell into place. But
Oh, that's beautiful.
thank you. It was through a meditation and I do my meditations through Headspace.
Okay.
They have an app. I always talk about it. They also have it on Netflix, which is how I even found it. I have to say the truth. And now I use it every single day and it's helped me. I can't even tell you how much meditation has helped me soothe my soul.
Yeah, I
My
agree. It does the same
God.
to me.
Yes. Okay, so I wanted to touch base with Reiki and I
Yeah.
wanted to share with the audience. So I went on your website and I see you are currently booking for Reiki in person in South Florida or
Yes.
online anywhere in the world.
Yes.
And open to book for Akashic readings, not in person, but open to anyone in the world, or no, not yet.
Yes, it's open to anyone in the world. So I'm not sure when this episode's coming out, but whenever this episode comes out, reach out to me and we can book it. I will, you know what, this is great. It's gonna get me a fire mask to put that up on my website.
Stop. No, 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 no fire in your ass. Whatever is
No, I mean like
supposed to
whoop,
be
get
will
me
be.
moving, you know?
Whatever is supposed to be will be, and it'll come at the right time. It will.
Yes, there we
Absolutely.
go, talking about time.
Yeah.
I love
It
it.
will come at the right time. Whatever that may be. Whatever that looks like, right? Whatever
Yes,
that looks like.
yes.
Um, so Natalia, any last words? I'm going to end with a little something that I have for us, but any last words that you would like to share that we didn't touch on? Anything?
Um, since it's just the beginning of the year, I guess I want to leave people with a message for this year that just remember to stop during the day, to breathe, take some breaths during the day when it gets so busy. Remember to look up and like see a beautiful sky. Remember to fall in love with yourself if you're not there yet. Remember to love yourself every day and just, yeah, listen more to our podcast.
Yes.
That's the last tip.
Yes. Listen to spirituality and shit. You know, I'm going to put all of the links below to your website, to your podcast, to all of your socials, everything. Thank you for that. And everyone, it is a brand new year and do more of what you love. Do more of what you love. And so I always end the podcast with an inspirational quote. And this is the one that I have for us today.
Yay.
If you make your internal life a priority, then everything else you need on the outside will be given to you, and it will be extremely clear what the next step is. And that is from Gabby Bernstein.
Oh, love her.
I love Gabby.
I love her.
And to dissect that quote a little, it's true. If you make your internal, which is it's your soul, if you make your soul a priority, then everything on the external will come and will follow.
It will show up. Yeah. This is something that Tony Robbins says. I guess you don't need to know the how of everything. Just take the first step and the next will appear. The universe will show up for you. So
take the first step and the next will appear. Wow. Thank you. Thank you. I was listening to a Tony Robbins book the other day, like literally yesterday, an audiobook, but just because I love his voice. It's so impactful, like listening to his voice. Again, okay, that is opening into like the throat chakra, like listening to his voice. See?
Yeah, there's some power there for sure. And
Yes.
energy, like you feel it, like woof,
Yeah.
100%.
Oh my gosh. Okay, enough about the throat chakra.
Hey, we can do a whole episode about the throat chakra.
I'm just
Bring
kidding.
women in to let it go. Imagine, hey, let your throat chakra relax a little. It'll be a screaming fest.
Yeah, that's so true. Screaming, singing, who knows, right? Whatever comes
Of
out.
course. It can be fun. We can do karaoke. Come on, let's get creative.
That's true. Let's do a karaoke night. We could do like a karaoke night like on the computer, and everyone wherever they are around like the world, because we have listeners. I have listeners in like 13 different countries. Like you guys
Yeah,
are
that's so
out.
exciting.
Thank you. You guys are out there. I love connecting with you, and Nathalia is incredible. You guys have to subscribe ASAP. Right when you're done listening to this, hit the subscribe button.
Yay.
Okay,
Thank
Nathalia.
you.
Thank you so much for coming on the If I Don't Laugh, I'll Cry show podcast. Until next time.
Thanks for having me.
Bye. Thank you.